There are many different kinds of support markers in the game. Here you can see some of them. Support markers might represent snipers, like these two, for example, aircraft, like this marker, mortars, like this one, or heavy artillery, like this one. Artillery has two sides. The heavy artillery on one side, and you have the mortar light artillery on the other side, while snipers have on the flip side they have a question mark, and airplanes have just two different kinds of airplanes. So you, in a scenario, you might have one or the other. They always have these two values, except for snipers, which only have one because they only use small arms. In the other cases, they always have the two different values: small arms on the left hand side and heavy weapons on the right hand side, with the two different colors. The base die color you have to refer to whenever you want to use them to attack a target, and then they might have a intrinsic defensive value, like this airplane, for example, that has -1. Snipers in particular have in the center this symbol, which means that the range of their weapon is infinite, so they can hit wherever they want on the map. There's no range limit. And you have the color, which is the color of the base. It's the base die color you'll have to use. You'll have to refer to whenever you want to fire with the sniper. Let's see how support markers work. First of all, whenever a player wants to use a support marker, his cube on the action track must be in the same box with the support marker he wants to use, or be past the box where the support marker is. Like in this case, it might be anywhere here along the action track, or in the box 37. Like in this case, for example, the blue player might be able to use both the artillery support marker and the air support marker, because both markers are before the blue cube. For the orange player instead, if you wanted to use the sniper marker, this one here, he should reach the box where the sniper marker is, which is 31 in this case, or be past it. Doesn't matter, as long as the cube is not before the box where the support marker currently is. So now let's say I'm the blue player and I want to use this support marker. So I want to use air support. I simply pay the relevant cost. First of all, I have to choose which value I want to use in the attack. So I have to choose whether I want to use the small arms value, this one on the left, or the heavy weapons value, this one on the right. Let's say I want to use the heavy weapons value, so I'll have to pay 9 APs. So I pay my 9 APs first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I reach box number 26. I take my support marker, I put it on a map where my target is, and my target is this one. So I put it here. Then I resolve the attack just like any regular attack. So I'll use the relevant dice color, apply any modifiers, and then see what the result is. Once I've resolved the attack, I take the support marker back to the track where my cube currently is. So my blue cube is currently in box 26, which means that my support marker will go back in the same box with the cube. Now this support marker won't be available again until the next turn. So it would be, in this case, turn 3, until on turn 3 my blue cube has reached again box number 26, or even past it. Now let's pretend I want to use artillery instead. So my my blue cube. I'm the blue player. My blue cube is beyond box number 37. That's where my support marker, artillery marker, currently is. So I can use it, no problem. So I spend the relevant cost. I choose to use small arms, the small arms value, so it would be 7 APs. That's the cost. And I pay my 7 APs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my cube reaches number 28 box. I take my marker, I place it on the map where my target is located. Let's say my target this time is this one. Now there are two main different situations here. If the target is within loss of any of my other units on the map, so if any of my units on the map can actually see the target, can see where I'm firing with artillery, this unit works as a spotter, which means that tells the artillery where the target is located. In this case, you simply attack with the artillery the target using the regular rules. So you'll throw the dice. In this case, I would throw the blue dice as a base color die and apply after applying any modifiers, and I would see the result. The second situation that might occur is that the target I'm trying to hit with my artillery is not within loss of any friendly unit on the map, which means that no unit can actually see where the target is precisely at the moment is located. So in this case, I will have to apply dispersion. So dispersion means that I don't know if I will be able to hit the target, the X where the target is located, but I might hit somewhere else. So I get my dispersion counter, which is this one. I put it in the X where the target is. Now the arrow here in on the marker might point at any side of the X. It doesn't matter because I will be throwing a die, so it's going to be absolutely random. So I might, let's say that I choose to point the arrow to this side of the X. Then I throw a dice, a regular dice, this one. Okay, the result is 3 in this case, so I go to my dispersion counter. I see where number 3 is. Number 3 points at this side of the X. So it means that the adjacent X to the target X in this direction will be hit. So this X will be hit, and I simply apply the result just as if it was any regular attack, and I see what happens. Remember that if I choose the heavy weapon value with artillery and I have a kill result, I produce some debris because the buildings collapsed. The buildings in the X collapsed, so I produce some debris. In this case, I have to take the debris marker, which is this one, and I'll put it here. Okay, debris hinder loss, hinder line of sight, and the terrain where the debris is placed, it becomes basically it's blocked, so you can't move through this X anymore. After checking the result of my artillery attack, I take my artillery support marker back to the action track, where my cube, the blue cube in this case, currently is, which is here, box number 28. I won't be able to use this artillery marker again until the next turn my cube has reached number 28 box or has passed it. Now there are many different kinds of what we call situation markers in the game that might represent an IED, an improvised explosive device, or a mine, or rubbles, or simply a dummy. They all have, on the flip side, they all have a question mark. Now you can see here, these are all question marks or unknown markers, as we call them. But if I flip them, I have different kind of icons. So this one on the left, the first one on the left is a mine marker. This one is an IED marker. This is a rubble or debris marker, and this is a dummy. A dummy is basically fake counters. They are used only to increase uncertainty in the game. The mines and the IEDs work in a similar way. They might explode, blow up, and cause damage to your units. The attack to the units by one of these kind of markers is very simple. You have to use the color here on the top left corner as a base die color to attack. In this case, it's purple, and you perform a regular attack following the standard rules. Well, let's see them in a real situation. Let's say that I am the blue player. In this case, it's the French army, and I had this situation where there's lots of situation markers placed on the map, but I don't know what's under them. So it might be a mine, it might be simply a dummy. I don't know. So I have to find out. How can I do it? There are two ways. One, which is very unsafe, is to step into the X where the unknown marker is and discover what's in there. In this case, for example, if I stepped in this X, I would flip the marker. Oops. See, there are some mines here, so mines will attack me, and the other player will have to roll a base color die, a purple base color die, and see the result. So you will have to perform a regular attack on this unit. To avoid this, I might use as a special action, which is the special action here. It's this one here. It's the Recon. Yes, it's the Recon special action. The icon is this kind of eye. The Recon action basically enables me to know what's actually inside the X where the unknown marker is. So to use it to perform this special action, the unit with the special action ability icon must be adjacent to the X I want to reckon. In this case, let's say that I'm here and I want to see what's in here. I simply pay, being a special action, I'll have to pay the small arms cost. In this case is 5, so I pay my 5 APs and I try and see what's here. Oops, there's a mine. Now, good to know, because now I know that this place is dangerous for my infantry units to go through. To be able to clear mines or even IDs, I can use a special unit, which is the engineer unit, like this one. They have the special action icon, this one here, that tells me that this unit is an engineer unit, and it can perform various tasks, various special actions, among which clearing minefields or even clearing hacks with an IED. So I'd have to, if I wanted to get rid of this mine, I'd have to move adjacent to the mine axe. Let's say that my unit is here. I'd have to move adjacent to the mine axe. I'd have to pay the relevant cost for the mining, which is in this case 6, so I would pay my 6 APs, and then I would roll as a base color red and see what happens. Sometimes if the roll is not particularly good, I might the mine or the ID might stay in place, but in the best case I should be able to get rid of it and eliminate the counter. So let's say that I'm the French player, and the French player is currently the active player, the blue player, and the French player wants to find out what's under this unknown marker. I have a unit here with a Recon special action that can perform Recon special actions. So we'll use this one to find out what's under the marker. But at the same time, I'm worried that this enemy unit, being in Overwatch, might fire at me as soon as I move here within its range and in its loss. So to avoid that, I can use this unit that can perform suppressive, a suppressive special action. Suppressive special action means that I pay the relevant cost, the small cost, which is 3 in this case, and I simply do a test using gray, in this case gray as a base color. I don't have any kind of physical damage, so I don't have to take that kind of modifier into account. So let's say that my suppressive fire is successful, and this unit becomes suppressed. So it won't be able to fire at me until it becomes again unsuppressed. So my Recon unit can move safely here, spending 1 AP, and at this point can use its special action, Recon special action. Once again, I'll pay the relevant cost, which in this case is 5. I'll roll the die, apply any modifiers, but in this case there's no modifier because my unit has no damage, has no physical damage, so I can use the yellow color. And let's say that I'm lucky and I find out that behind this counter there's actually a minefield. Sometimes when I try to find out what's behind an unknown marker, if it's an IED or a minefield, like in this case, if I'm not lucky, the mines or the IEDs might explode. In this case, I will have to carry on no regular attack with the color, the die of the color that is here on top of the counter, on the left top left corner of the counter. But let's say that in this case I've been pretty lucky, so I discovered that there's a minefield and my unit is not affected, is not attacked by the explosion of the minefield. At this point I want to get rid of the mine, so I can send my engineer unit that has the special, can perform the special action of clearing hacks from mines or IEDs, paying the relevant cost, which in this case is 6. So I move adjacent to the target, which is my minefield here, and I pay 6 APs, and I do the test and see what happens. Let's say that once again, I'm pretty lucky and I can clear the X safely, and so my units can go on and move on, and the next activation probably will be able to go on and do some recon here and find out what's behind this marker. Oh, it's an IED. So I would perform similar actions to the ones I've just performed and see what happens. See, all these are situation markers, so I don't know. As a blue player, I don't know what's behind these markers. So let's see. Okay, this is a dummy, which means that basically there's nothing here. Mines, 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 and mines.